The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN. Get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Earn up to $750 per month on your sports gambling transactions. Go to edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rithmm, leader in data-driven picks and props. Get your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no the voice, no the guy. It's me, really well, villain well, Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. And here we are. Another crazy night in the NBA. I didn't hit a bet, so this is pretty warranted here. I don't know where that drop is. Wow, is that not up here? That's not up here. Why is that? No, that's got to be up here. Scott, yeah, there we go.
How about if you sweep it out?
What's the point? I can't do anything right.
You'll do fine.
Hey, pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, the game that I lost to the night was not the most egregious of all the losses of the night. Last night had a lot of egregious losses, but this was not the most egregious. However, the Clippers were nowhere near close to covering that line. The Lakers couldn't miss a shot. Like nothing. There was no miss. Every single time I was hoping for a miss, it was never a miss. They made every bucket. I know that may not be what the box score shows, but if you watch the game, I promise you're going to feel like they made every single shot. So missed out on Lakers or on Clippers there. Zubac didn't do anything because the Clippers were absolutely horrible in that game. Chat is rolling today. A lot of the chat was on Miami laying points today. And you know what? I don't know what to tell you, chat. Don't know what to tell you, chat. I mean, it's Miami laying points. I just went with the system, took Chicago plus 3.5, and Chicago ended up right away with that one. But the most egregious of all the games last night, and I'm finna kick it over to my co-host right now, because the Brooklyn Nets were down 4 with 9 seconds to go in the game and somehow won the game. I don't know if you saw it, but the 3 and then the terrible inbounds pass that leads to a steal and then an immediate another 3 to go down 2 points after you were just up 4. It's pretty good. Pretty good. And it just exactly speaks to what we were saying about the Rockets' late game execution. So we got the nerd Lonte Smith with me. Lonte, what's going on?
Not much, man. Just hoping that I don't get a text from Sean and Ryan saying I got traded. Like Luka.
Yeah. So, everybody's. I mean, ain't nobody safe around here now. Nobody.
Right, yeah. But yeah, doing pretty good, man. Got some. If you like home dogs, it's definitely the slate for you, for sure. Because it's a lot of home underdogs that you can take advantage of in this specific slate. But yeah, that was brutal. I thought Kansas was bad when they lost to Houston. But man, that Houston, Houston actually just in shambles.
Yeah. I mean, well, Houston got the win in that Kansas game miraculously. And I guess the reason that they got the win is because they went ahead and said, hey, if we do this solid, then it's going to come back to us and it's just going to happen to the Rockets and not us. So, very, very tough loss because I know it was people out there that had like Houston money line on these big parlays and all of that. And I'm like, whew, should have took Nets plus
I did
points there.
I'm one of those people.
Yeah, man. Probably some Houston 1-10 out there that would have cashed. Like that was just that was a horrible end to the game. I feel bad for whoever had Houston there. All right. And Lonte. We're running a free Squares pool for the Super Bowl. If you haven't already, go ahead and join that Squares pool, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/squares, because the winner take all. It is winner take all. $1,000 will be given away to one lucky listener, or lucky podcast host because I have entered the Royal Rumble, aka Super Bowl squares. So we shall see. All right. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/squares, and due to popular demand, if we get 200 entries, we will release another $1,000 free squares pool. So if we get enough and we have enough for 2 pools, we'll run a second one. But if we don't get enough, then we're not going to run that second one. So that means everybody just go ahead and send in the entry. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/squares. All right, let's get into it. A lot of games on the slate. Not a lot of time. We got the first game up, 7 o'clock on the East Coast. Milwaukee Bucks going up against the Charlotte Hornets. I've seen this line all the way down to 8.5. It's ballooned up to 10.5 here. 220.5 is the total injury report for these two teams. And for the Charlotte Hornets, we know LaMelo is still currently out. They are trying out that ankle. He's week to week. Cody Martin, not the one that got traded. He is ruled out for this game as well. We've got Josh Okogie, who is out for this one as well. And then Micic is questionable. For it looks like is really, really a questionable too. No idea if he's going to play that one. Brook Lopez is a game time decision, probable for this game. We've got Bobby Portis also up there, is a probable for the game. He's been gone with personal reasons. Giannis is questionable with the knee injury. And we have Dame, who is also questionable with the groin injury. And then the big news of the day, the Milwaukee Bucks trading Chris Middleton over to the Washington Wizards. Talk about a fall from grace. All right. The details of the trade: Bucks get Kuzma, get Patrick Baldwin, and what's this, a second round pick? What's up with everybody getting these second round? Yeah, second round draft compensation. And the Wizards get Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, and a pick swap. All right. Well, a future pick swap. So here we go. No Chris Middleton this one. He got traded. What are you doing here, Lonte? Laying a big number with the Milwaukee Bucks here.
Yeah, I'll stay away from the side. I'm guessing that most of these guys will play, being that the spread kind of jumped up a little bit. So at least one of Dame or Giannis should be playing. I think they both missed the last game against OKC. So in the previous meetings, they split 2 back in November. So obviously 2 different teams from then to now. Hornets covered both, and one went outright as 4-point dogs, but they had LaMelo and I think Brandon Miller in that span. But if you look at Charlotte, I mean, kind of been a feisty dog, 23-14-4 ATS as a dog. I like their defense, so I like the under in the game. This is the 5th straight road game in their last 6 for Milwaukee. They lost and failed to cover in 4 straight. So, I mean, if you're looking for a bounce back spot, if both of those guys play, maybe. But I like the under. Defensively, I like Charlotte. I mean, they're 14th in defensive rating. Offensively, they can't score, 28th in points per game and offensive rating. So regardless of who's on the court, I don't expect them to score. I think they'll slow the game down a little bit. 20 of their 27 home games have been under. And when they're underdog, 68% of their games go under. So I think we see a low-scoring affair here. I'm thinking more like 107, 93-ish, 95-ish. So I think Charlotte struggles to get to 100. So I like the under.
Yeah, I can see that. I'll just lay the points with the Bucks. I'm not going to think about this too hard. Charlotte's really, really struggling to put forth an actual NBA competitive roster, and I don't know how they're going to stop anything on the inside between Giannis and Bobby Portis in this game with those two playing. So, probably wait for confirmation Giannis Dame in this one, but I think while these games have been super competitive in the past, the ones that have been competitive had LaMelo in it. The ones that did not kind of went the Bucks' way. So I'm going with the Bucks here, laying 10.5. I see your reasoning for the under. Not 100% committed yet, but I see the reasoning. My only thought is, what if the Bucks just come out here and there's no stopping anything inside the paint, and the Bucks put up 130? That would be concerning.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Other than that, yeah, don't really got anything else for that one. That's a pretty smooth game there. Okay. Next one up, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers on the road going to play the Detroit Pistons. Detroit, you talked about home dogs. Here goes another one. Detroit's catching 5.5 here at home. 236.5 is the total, Lonte. Injury report here. And we've got, as you know, Jayton Ivey is out. This is also the other big trade news of the day. I would say big, but I don't even think I have actually full trade compensation. But KJ Martin has been traded to the Pistons for what is it? What Sixers will trade KJ Martin 2 second-round picks to the Pistons. I don't see anything else that has come back. Did the Pistons even get anything for this, or is this one of those trades where they're like, yeah, just give us this and it doesn't count on your cap? Like I actually don't see anything saying what if somebody can find that out for me. I have no idea what the Pistons gave up in that trade. All I know is they have KJ Martin now. But yeah, Ivy's still out. Otherwise, relatively healthy Pistons squad. Okoro is a game time decision. No, he's not. Yeah, no, he's a game time decision. We'll see if Okoro is going to be able to play here today. No Dean Wade. That's it for the Cavs. All right. Pistons are 500. Cavs coming off the loss to Boston yesterday. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I actually was hoping that Cleveland won that game last night so it can take Detroit getting a little bit more points. But as it sits right now, I like Cleveland. They perform well on the road. They usually respond off a loss. They in the 2 prior meetings in Cleveland, they won and covered both. Detroit really struggled to get to 100, 91 and 101 in both of those games. And if you look at Detroit, not really covering numbers as a late 4-6 ATS last 10, and early on they were covering numbers as a dog. But if you look at the totality of the season, 15 and 19 as a dog. So the thing that they have to do is they have to make threes because that's where Cleveland's weak at. But they don't shoot threes. Like they don't make a ton of threes. It's a lot of Cade, pick and rolls. And I know Beasley and Hardaway Jr. are kind of, hot and cold, but they got to be able to make those threes. And I think that Cleveland will be able to stymie them. Cleveland 15-7 ATS on the road. And even at home, Detroit's 10-14 ATS. And one of the big glaring weaknesses that Detroit has that Cleveland can exploit is a 3-point shooting. Cleveland's first in 3-point shooting. Detroit's 27th on defense. So I think they'll spread them out. They'll be able to have Durian come out a little bit further to kind of guard Mobley. Mobley has to have a big game here. He was kind of quiet last night. Allen was good on the board. I think he had 10 boards like the second quarter, which was crazy. So Cleveland exerted a lot of energy last night, but I think they'll be ready to go here in this spot. Not a ton of travel, so they should be fine. So I like Cleveland. I'll lay the 5.5. I like Cleveland.
I'm with you here. I think we go chalk here. Just lay the 5.5 for Cleveland. Afro Man, went crazy. 8. It was like I saw 9 rebounds and then it dropped back down to 8 after the first quarter, but he went absolutely insane very early. Oh, excuse me. Whoa. Yeah, that's about how I feel about this game. I think it's a little bit of a sleepy spot here for Detroit. And this is kind of, hey, we want to go out here. We want to test ourselves against the number 1 team in the East. And you realize that there's a significant gap that you and this team have to work on to kind of get to that level of the top teams in the league. I understand these 2 teams played about a week ago. But I think that this is a pretty good spot for Cleveland. Just continue to assert dominance, bounce back after the loss to the Boston game, and look really good because they couldn't hit anything. Like they could not hit a shot in that first half of the Boston game. And I think that while the defense is still pretty good for the Detroit Pistons on the totality of the season, things will open up for them a lot easier here. Yeah, run that Cavs first half playback. I think they bounce back in a good way here. All right. Let's see here. Before we get to the next game of the slate, got to talk to you about DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL and of Super Bowl 59. I hope Drake really doesn't plan on watching this Super Bowl because this is probably going to be the nail in the coffin for him. Wish we could get some Super Bowl odds on just different halftime stuff. But I'll let you know what they do have, Lonte. They do have plus 205 on the opening kickoff to not be a touchback. I don't know. That sounds a little bit of an overprice compared to years past. Years past, this is closer to even money than it is 2-1. So that might be something to go get down on DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SGP. That is code SGP for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
All right, let's get into Rithmm, #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that provides bettors of all levels the ability to customize and predict and build predictive betting models. You can do that over there with the Rithmm app, and I promise you, it's super duper easy. I am not the most tech savvy person at all, and yet I can get over there and build a predictive betting model over there on Rithmm. Plus, they also are giving out player props and all of that. Get your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right, we're back, Lonte. Let's do this again with the San Antonio Spurs on the road going to play the Atlanta Hawks. Spurs open up at 3. It's up to 4.5 now. 242.5 is the total injury report here for these two teams. And we've got Trae Young is a game time decision. He's expected to play, probable in this game, actually. No Bogdanovich, no Capella. Chris Paul is questionable, added to the injury report for this game with the finger injury. And then we got Charles Bassey, backup big for them, is out. All right, here we go. I mean, this is pretty simple for me. I think for Atlanta to have a chance in this game, they have to slow down Victor Wembanyama. And I think there's no chance that they can slow down Victor Wembanyama in this game. Like the bigs, I will read off the list of bigs that the Hawks are working with right now. Onyeka Okongwu, Larry Nance Jr. That's it. I don't know if we're counting Larry Nance Jr. as a big all the way. But Okongwu is definitely their big.
Yeah, not really. Larry Nance. Yeah, not really.
I mean, he's 6'8".
Yeah.
What's that TikTok? 6'8". He can see over everything. Top 5. Yeah. Nah, but for real, there's no chance that I played Victor Wembanyama's props already. I think there's no chance they slow him down. I think that this is I wouldn't necessarily really say it's like a Fox coming out party, because I do think
is he playing?
I don't even know if he's playing. He's not on the injury report, so I assume he's playing.
Yeah, somebody in the chat said that he's making his debut.
And it has him up there as the expected lineup. What I also think this lineup is kind of trash, and this would not be the lineup that I ran out there. But I think this is a better spot of, while Atlanta has not been up to par. They lost, what was that, 7-8 straight prior to that win against the Wizards, where again, oh no, it was the Pistons, that win against the Pistons. They lost like 7-8 straight. They covered a few of those games. They made some of those games competitive. I don't think this is one of those spots. I think this is, maybe Trae Young has a good game and carries this team, but without Jalen Johnson and that injury, they are really, really hurt on the scoring aspect of all of this. And it just seems like they have to try to push pace, push tempo, and run behind Trae Young to consistently get offense against bad defensive teams. But this first team defense can actually get up in spots. I think this is a lower scoring game. And I'm not certain if that's enough for Atlanta to keep this close. I think the Spurs go out here, get a win on the road, and they win by 6, 7, 8 points here.
Yeah, so I really don't know what to do with the Hawks, to be honest. I mean, they are one of the most confusing teams in the league. I don't know, their expectations to performance is just so like
They suck.
wild. Like it varies. So but yeah, they're 1-4 straight up, but 4-1 ATS in that 5-game span. They don't perform well at home. They're 9-13 ATS at home. They are returning home from a 3-game road trip. Actually, they played 4 of the last 5 on the road. And I wanted to bet the Spurs here, but I didn't know about Fox, so I'm guessing that's why the number ticked up. I think I saw like 2.5 on the open. I missed that. But I like the over though, so I kind of disagree with you. I like the over. So the first thing is they scored 259 points in the first meeting. Total was 234. If you look at what San Antonio has been doing defensively, I mean, Fox is not going to help them defensively. So he's going to much more raise their ceiling offensively. But defensively, they've allowed 125 plus in 3 of the last 5. And if you look at what Atlanta's been doing, I mean, they've allowed 130 points in 130 or more in 3 straight. San Antonio's over in 8 of the last 10. Over in 12 of 21 at home. Usually at home, Atlanta likes to run 15-7 over at home. I think that Victor will have a big game, especially from 3. So I'm looking to take his 3s over. Atlanta 26th in 3-point percentage defense. So, like I said, I think San Antonio scores with ease. Maybe if you want to go team total over, but I think both teams can get to like 120 here. So I'm looking at Spurs maybe like 125. 123 or something like that. But I think it'll be a lot closer than what the spread indicates. So I stayed away from that 4.5, but it would be Spurs or nothing for me on the side. But I like the over though.
Yeah, I like Spurs team total over. I can buy that. Not 100% sold on the Atlanta side of ball here. All right, next game up. Memphis Grizzlies. Jesus Christ, this line's up to 9.5. The Grizzlies on. I mean, you said it, Lonte. We talked about 4 home dogs here. The Memphis Grizzlies are on the road laying 9.5 against the Toronto Raptors. Raptors and Grizzlies total sitting there at 238.5. And let's see here for an injury report. We've got Brandon Clark. This should take a minute. Give me a second, guys. Brandon Clark is questionable with the back injury. We've got John Conchar, who is questionable with the shoulder injury. Marcus Smart is questionable with that finger injury. This is actually an upgrade. He was doubtful on Monday, and that was an upgrade for him. And now he's questionable. So it looks like the return of Marcus Smart is near. Could possibly happen tonight. Vince Williams is questionable with an ankle injury. He hasn't played since November. We'll see if he'll be able to make his return tonight. Desmond Bane is a confirmed out with a left foot sprain. All right. For the Raptors, yes, that was only the Grizzlies. For the Raptors, you got Jakob Poeltl, who missed part of that game yesterday with the right hip corner against the Knicks. I don't think he's probably going to play today. We got Boucher, who was ruled out yesterday with the sick report. We'll see if he plays today. And RJ Barrett was ruled out yesterday with concussion protocol. I doubt he plays today, so you could probably expect to see no RJ Barrett in this one as well. All right. Grizzlies laying 9.5. Not going to lie to you, Lonte. I got this at 7.5 already. I would bet it again at 9. I think the Grizzlies are just going to absolutely steamroll over the Toronto Raptors. They had 2 emotional games, getting Kawhi Leonard coming back to Toronto, playing the Knicks, and now they are here at home yet again, playing a Memphis Grizzlies team that, despite that long injury report that I read off, that has been pretty much like that over the course of the entire season, they're actually still one of the best teams in the league overall. They're one of the best teams in the league, ATS. They continue to find ways to get it done, and I don't care who's playing for the Memphis Grizzlies. This is still a really solid basketball team, light years better than this Toronto team. I'm going chalk, and I'm laying it with Memphis.
Yeah, I can't talk you off that. I kind of agree with you there. But my favorite play on the card, Memphis team total over 124.5. I would maybe look at a full game over, but I don't really trust Toronto. But the Memphis team total over 124 is a smash. I mean, they scored 155 in the first meeting against them. They covered the 11. This was in December.
Yep.
They're 16-8 ATS on the road. They've covered 7 of 10, one of the hottest teams in the league. They've been probably the most consistent, although having, their players in and out of the lineup. Like Ja came back last game, and then they're kind of without Edie sometimes, and then Bane's out now. But I think injuries are like a little bit lesser on this specific team just because they got so many guys that they can rotate in and play. So I don't disagree with what you're saying. I mean, they might let up a little bit at the end. And Toronto's been really good as a dog, obviously 26-18-1. And they've covered 8 of 10 18-8 overall, ATS at home. So that's what's kind of keeping me off at that earlier number that you got, definitely. But pushing double digits, maybe a little bit of a concern. But I like the team total over, man. I think Memphis just steamrolls them. If Pirtle's not in, Jaren Jackson and Edey should be able to like dominate on the inside. So I don't think we see a ton of resistance from Toronto defensively. So I like the Memphis team total to go over 124.5.
All right. Love it. Love it. Let's keep it rolling. Oh my gosh. Look at this barn burner we have here. The Washington Wizards are on the road going to play the Brooklyn Nets. Nets are laying 2.5. 2.5 after that 6 points in 4.3 seconds or whatever the heck it was for them to come back and win the game. They're laying 2.5 here. 216 is the total. Let's see here. There's a combined 25 wins between these two teams at this point in the season. Combined 25 wins. It's a good amount of teams that have 25 wins by themselves, including Golden State, believe it or not. So that's really, really bad. Here we go. Injury report for these two teams. And we've got, can't really give you too much on Brooklyn with everything they had going on yesterday. Ben Simmons got held out of that game yesterday, so we probably can expect him to play in this game here today. It looks like that Cam Johnson is also very much close to a return, especially with the trade deadline approaching. So there's a possibility that Cam Johnson plays in this game to try to put forth one more good effort before the trade deadline. He, however, did not play yesterday, so there's a chance you see him here today. For the Wizards, told you about the Chris Middleton trade. No Kuzma, that's pretty big for them. No Patrick Baldwin Jr., that doesn't matter at all. There's also no Marvin Bagley, as he's not been here, and no Alex Sarr either. So, beat up Wizards team going up against a Nets team that could possibly have Cam Johnson here, and more than likely will probably have Ben Simmons. What are you doing?
Yeah, it would be Brooklyn or nothing. I like the under. Don't trust either offense, regardless of if the Cam and Ben duo kind of comes back. Brooklyn off back-to-back, which kind of helps us here on the under. I think they'll be able to slow it down a little bit, play in the half court. They're under in 8 of their last 10 and 13 of 21 at home. They've also scored under 100 in 3 of their last 5, and Washington's under in 6 of 10. I mean, there's not much analysis that we can give on this game, man. Two bad teams. Usually in football, I would bet an over, but basketball, I think the tempo will be slowed down. Both teams struggling to score. I think we see a mid to low 90s type of game. So I'm thinking 95, 90 Brooklyn. So I'll go under that total.
The chat said it was a mid for mid trade. I have to agree. Yeah, I like the under. I agree with you. I think that's the better play in this one. I mean, I guess if Cam Johnson plays, I'd be willing to lay points in the toilet bowl. I guess. But if you tell me Cam Johnson not playing, give me the Wizards and the points. No way. I'm not laying points with that Nets team. But they are significantly better when Cam Johnson plays. So I'll take the Nets plus Cam Johnson. But if there's no Cam Johnson, give me the Wizards. Even sprinkle on the money line. They might get a weird win in that one.
Yeah, 1-2 in a row.
Yep. All right. Let's see here. Before we get to the rest of the games on the slate, gotta talk to you about Edge Boost. Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS site, sweepstakes site, racetrack, casino, or if you just don't want to attach your personal information to those places, that's fine. Use your Edge Boost Premier Visa debit card. Plus, you can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using your card. So you get to use the card, go bet on games as you were already going to do, and then get $750 back in cash back rewards. Why would you not do it? And your money is safe because this card is insured by the FDIC. So make sure that you go ahead and lock it in. There's no credit checks, completely free. Sign up today and use promo code SGPN and get better cash back rewards and an instant tier 2 status with your Edge Boost card. That is edgeboost.bet. Promo code SGPN, edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. They have you covered for the big game this Sunday with the Travis Kelce free pick if you sign up between now and Sunday. So go make sure if you haven't signed up with Underdog Fantasy, you go sign up right now. I promise you, super duper easy. You're going to love the benefits. You're going to love the app and everything you can do over there. You can absolutely lock in NBA as well. WNBA, college basketball, all of that stuff, NASCAR, MMA, all of that is over there in Underdog. So go lock in and tap in with Underdog Pick'em. I know one thing I'm using for the Super Bowl, Lonte, Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. It's a hedge play here for me. I don't want to see anything good to happen for the Eagles, but man, if Jalen Hurts doesn't just punch that ball in from the one, it's always going to happen. And it would only be Saquon Barkley if in the Super Bowl he got the chance to score and got tackled at the one. And here comes Jalen Hurts with another chance to go ahead and
does
steal
that often.
him. Yeah, it does it very, very often. And somehow that goes into his stats. Whatever. It's cool. All right. Saquon should have had a much better year, been MVP. So here we are. Sign up with promo code NBA SGPN. Claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code NBA SGPN. All righty here. Let's see. Next game up, we've got the Miami Heat on the road going to play the Philadelphia 76ers. 76ers got a win, but they didn't get the cover. It didn't look pretty neither, as they were able to beat the Dallas Mavericks yesterday. Line closed at 4. They won by 2. I think we broke it down at 2.5. Let's see here. 219.5 is total. Injury report for these two teams. And I got for the Miami Heat, can't really give you much on either squad. Both of these two teams are coming off of a back-to-back here. But keep an eye on Paul George. We'll see if he is able to play today. He was a full participant in practice on Monday. Missed the first half of the back-to-back, so we'll see if they return him for the second half. We know for a fact Joel Embiid is not playing in this back-to-back. He's already been ruled out. Question marks on a bunch of other players here. Eric Gordon, Grimes coming over from the trade, Kyle Lowry, Andre Drummond. For Miami, you know Jimmy Butler's not playing. And no Josh Richardson. All right. So, yeah, it's Miami rule. Just give me Philly +1, but I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. But that was a pretty bad loss for Miami yesterday too.
Yeah, I mean, I like Philly. I think they should be favored, to be honest. It's going to be a good matchup between Hero and Maxey. That'll be electric. Kentucky on Kentucky crime. Maxey's been playing out of his mind as of late. Embiid played out of his mind last night, triple-double. I think they kind of gave that game away a little bit. They had it within the wraps and kind of let go of the rope a little bit, and that's probably just Embiid being rusty, some turnovers here and there. But, I mean, I think Philly's in better form right now. Miami obviously dealing with the Jimmy Butler stuff. I'm not sure if that's affecting them or not, but obviously not having one of the better players in the NBA on the roster and have other guys do things that they're not accustomed to doing is can be somewhat taxing. But I think Philly's in better form right now. Miami 3-7, ATS last 10. Philly on the other side covered 4 in a row and 6 of the last 10. So I think it's Philly or nothing for me. I also like the under. Last time these teams faced off, 195 total points scored. No Joel Embiid. I know someone close to Philly, and they said Paul George is going to be in, barring any crazy setback in the next 4 or 5 hours. So I think this line will be flipped to 76ers as a favorite once that hits the screen and he goes in. But
well,
I think Philly is good.
If I can interrupt you here. Yeah, the line is already moved to Philly -1, so I'm now on Miami.
Well, I mean, I'm still gonna. I'll still take Philly as long as it's anything below 3. I'm on Philly.
I'm gonna continue. I mean, I have no thoughts on this Miami team this year. I'm just gonna continue to bet the system. When they're a dog, we take them as a dog. When they're a favorite, we fade them as a favorite. It's always profitable in the end. All right. What's up? Dang, we're still in. That was still the 7:30 hour. A lot of games here today. We're getting into the 8 o'clock hour here. We've got the Chicago Bulls on the road going to play the Minnesota Timberwolves. Timberwolves laying 11.5 here. 227.5 is total. Injury report. So big news from the horizon with the De'Aaron Fox and Zach LaVine trade. So now it's a new look Bulls team. We've got Lonzo, who is up to 28 minutes per game. So looks like he's going to be able to play in this one. THT did not play yesterday against the Heat in that game. So we'll see if he'll be able to play here on the back-to-back. And it was no Zach Collins, Herter, or Trey Jones in that game yesterday. So we'll see if they'll activate them for the second game of the back-to-back here. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, you got no Dante DiVincenzo. He's out for that toe injury for a while. And we've got Julius Randle, who went out, was that last game? Or 2 games before that, something like that. And he was out with the groin injury. He'll be out for the next 2 weeks. So 2 big scoring options down for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're laying 11.5 here.
Yeah, I like Minnesota. I think Minnesota buries them. 135, 119 in November meeting. They covered 9.5 in Chicago. Chicago off of a back-to-back win, which they kind of just pulled out at the end, towards the end. I mean, they played better in that second half. None of the new players are playing yet. I think you went over that. They were allowed 120 plus in 4 of their last 5. Minnesota, good bounce back spot after 2 rough losses. I know Ant was maybe out for one of those. And I think they lost one of those to the Wizards, which was kind of weird. But I think they're better, obviously, with no Randall and more Naz Reid. They don't typically, perform well at home. 6-18-1 as a favorite. 13-26. No, I'm sorry. 8-16. 8-16-1 at home. 13-26 as a favorite. But I love the spot for them. They are going to be able to get downhill. No rim protection for Chicago means Ant should have a field day. Chicago 27th in 2-point percentage defense. So look for Ant to get downhill. Minnesota also top 10 in 3-point percentage defense. Chicago, relies a little bit on that 3-point. That 3-pointer a lot. They're 8th in 3-point percentage offense. So I think they shut that down. I think Minnesota buries them.
Yeah, I think the thing that kind of sold it for me on why I would take Minnesota, even though I do think this is a lot of points for a Minnesota team that I do have questions about offensively at times, but it's more of this Bulls team was horrible in terms of turning the ball over. They have one of the worst turnover rates in the league over the last 5 games. And guess who has one of the best turnover rate forced in the league? Well, the best turnover rate forced. That is the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're also number 1 in points off the turnover as well. So right now they're very, very active in creating havoc on the defensive end, turning those into points. And I think those points will be enough to offset anything extra the Bulls may give and be able to pull them over this total. So yeah, I like backing the team that creates a lot of turnovers versus the teams that has a lot of turnovers. So I'm with you. Not necessarily one of my favorite plays, but it's chalky enough. I like going Minnesota here, laying 11.5.
Who's got the chalk?
All right, let's get into it. Next game up, we've got the Golden State Warriors laying 6.5 on the road. Got another home dog here. Utah plus 6.5 here at home. 226.5 is the total. Injury report here for the Utah Jazz, and we have Lauri Markkanen, who is questionable with that back injury. Jalen Hood-Schifino is out. Oh man, he's not even with the team yet. I wonder if is he even going to join the team? Why is he not with the team? AD flew out the next day. Why is Jalen Hood-Schifino not with the Utah Jazz yet? I would love to know the answer to that question. Colin Sexton is out with a left ankle sprain. PJ Tucker is also still out. I would love to know, is PJ Tucker with the team and Jalen Hood-Schifino not with the team? Like, why is Jalen Hood-Schifino not with the team? There's no reason for you not to be with the team. You haven't done anything all year. All right. Cody Williams is also out as well with an ankle injury. For the Golden State Warriors, we've got Draymond Green as probable with potentially being traded for KD as the tag. We've got Andrew Wiggins is probable with a potential being traded for KD as a tag as well. And Jonathan Kuminga's still out. Moses Moody is listed as questionable with, again, potentially being traded for KD. Because it seems that's all the Warriors are locked into before the trade deadline is how they can make Kevin Durant yet again a Warrior. All right. 6.5 here against the Utah Jazz. What are you doing?
Yeah, I like the Warriors. Warriors won and covered both matchups. January, they were laying 10.5 at home, and they were laying 6.5 to begin the year. That was when they were rolling, and they buried them 127-89.
That 10.5 that just happened is very misleading.
Yeah, it is.
It's very, very misleading because of the fact of that line was 12 for the duration of the entire day. Most people got 12 on that line, and they ended up covering. It was 10.5 literally right before the game when I think it was Steph ruled out or like somebody was ruled out and it dropped right before the game. That was 12 the whole day. So it says the Warriors covered there. Take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, they covered it. I mean, 10.5 is a close, so they covered that. But yeah, I'm with you. So is Laurie in or is he out? Because he was like questionable. Okay, yeah. Even if he does go, I still like Golden State. I mean, they've covered 6 of the last 10 overall. They're better ATS on the road, 12-9, than they are at home, 12-13. Utah struggling at home is a place that they usually don't struggle. 9-12-1 ATS at home. They lost 9 of 10 straight up. And just piggybacking off of what you said about the last game about Chicago turning the ball over, Utah, they're 30th in assist to turnover ratio. They don't pass the ball a ton, not a lot of ball movement. They're 30th in turnovers per game. Golden State can turn up the heat defensively, turn them over, easy transition baskets. I think Golden State can win this going away. So I like Golden State in the under, to be quite honest.
Yeah, Jazz pretty bad in the turnover, but not as bad as who the heck were we just talking about? Chicago. Not as bad as Chicago, but still pretty bad. Nonetheless, all that really doesn't matter to me at all. Warriors suck, man. I'm not laying points on the road with the Warriors. I'm very good. You can have that. The Warriors are horrible, and that's not anybody that I feel any confidence in trusting them week to week. These two teams like just played last week, so maybe the Jazz get up for this one and try to make this one a little bit closer than what it was. I think teams are both healthier than what they were, but yeah, I'm really good. I'm really good on betting this Warriors team, so I'm taking Jazz plus 6.5 here. Yeah, not a big fan of the slate either, Bear Commander. Not a big slate of the fan either. It's a lot of games and not a lot that I like. All right. 226.5 is total. Anything there before we move on?
Yeah, I would go under. I don't think Utah's going to be missing a decent amount of guys, especially if Laurie's even if he's out there. I don't know how much he's going to do. So, yeah, I would go under. I think Golden State will be able to kind of control. Golden State doesn't want to play fast, but those turnovers are for Utah is kind of going to set the it's going to set the precedent of what this game is going to be. So we'll know early on how it's going to go. But I would go under if anything.
Golden State 1-10. While I'm reading this next one, can you find me a price on Golden State 1-10? Would love to know what that is. I think that's the play here. And Golden State probably gets the win, but I don't think it's going to look pretty at all. All right. New Orleans Pelicans on the road going to play the Denver Nuggets. Nuggets open up at 10. It's now at 10.5. 239 is the total. This is a deja vu game. Both of these two teams did just play where the Denver Nuggets did beat the New Orleans Pelicans 125-113, covered 9.5, won by 12. We have injury report here. Peyton Watson is still out, going to be out for a little while here, at least 4 weeks, it says, while evaluating that right knee sprain. We've got Aaron Gordon, who is a questionable here with a calf injury. And Westbrook is out of this game. He does not have a time to return because of the left hamstring strain. For New Orleans, this has to be the healthiest this injury report has looked in a while. Granted, they are missing DeJounte Murray out for the rest of the season. Herb Jones is still out for this team. You got Brandon Ingram, who is still out for this team. Both of those two not playing. Tice is questionable with the thumb injury. And somehow that is still the healthiest this injury report has been in a while. So No Westbrook on one side. We got a questionable Aaron Gordon on that same side. And then we got the Pelicans. What are you doing here, Lonte?
Yeah, I like the Denver team total over. I don't like the Pelicans at all. I know they're healthier, but I mean, 6-game losing streak, only covered one of those. Pushed once, I guess they covered the close, but they pushed once. If you depending on what you got for that Dallas game, and that kind of was all over the place because of injuries. But I mean, Joker should feast in the paint. New Orleans 28th in 2-point percentage defense and 29th in field goal percentage defense. So he should smash the interior for this New Orleans team. Over 125.5. They're averaging 128.5 versus them this year. They scored 125 plus in 4 of the last 7 at home. A handful of those teams were above average defenses. I think they played Boston. They played the Clippers in that span as well. So, I mean, I just think that Denver should have its way, regardless of who's in the lineup. I think they'll be fine. Joker, another triple-double. I just don't think that New Orleans is any good at all. Denver's seen them 3 times, so nothing is going to surprise them. So I like Denver in the game, but I like the team total over a little bit more.
Yeah, super annoying how that last game went, especially because they just crowded Zion the whole way. To know that there was no Aaron Gordon and Zion still didn't get over his points prop, very annoying. But CJ and Trey Murphy had 71 points by themselves. So I think there's a little bit of an adjustment there. Maybe if they free up and be able to find some ways to get Zion more active, and that's able to make this offense look a little better. It's a deja vu game. I'm just going to go the opposite side. Give me the Pelicans plus the points. Not really a good feeling on this one, but it's still they didn't have Westbrook or Gordon in that last game, and it really didn't matter. They were still able to get it done. I'll challenge them to just be able to do it again. I mean, DeAndre Jordan played 10, 12 minutes. Jalen Pickett played like 13 minutes. Hunter Tyson, they're still. Strawher gave them some really, really good minutes and 15 points off the bench. I would love to see him do that again. So, yeah, I'm going Pelicans, but it's probably a no bet here for me. I would have loved to see the Pelicans win the first matchup and then us be able to hammer Denver in the second game, but we're never that lucky with the Pelicans. All right. Let's see here. Anything else? I wouldn't play the total just because this is the deja vu game. I could see this going under.
Yeah, I just like the team total for Denver. They should be able to score at will.
So deja vu rules is we try to catch the first game, take the dog. The dog normally kind of comes up, surprises the team with the first game, and then the second game we take the favorite. I want to bounce back. Hey, we know we should have beat this team the first time. Now we're really going to destroy this team. But Denver destroyed them the first. Well, didn't really destroy them, but they got the cover the first game, so it kind of throws off all the principles here. But I would still say take the other side, and that's the plus points with New Orleans. But I'm not betting this one. No way. New Orleans sucks. All right. We've got, only 9:30. This is the 10th game of the night, and it's only 9:30. Well, I appreciate them for caring about us East Coasters. All right. Phoenix Suns on the road going to play the Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder laying 12.5 here. 228.5 is the total in this one. We've got J-Dub, Jalen Williams, is questionable with the wrist injury. We've got Chet Holmgren still out, as you know. Ajay Mitchell out, and Cason Wallace is out. Kevin Durant is a doubtful for this game. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to go with an ankle sprain, so no Kevin Durant here for the Phoenix Suns. Suns catching 12.5 here. What are you doing?
Yeah, if I had to play it, I would play OKC. Minus it. We've seen them destroy teams we literally just seen them destroy Milwaukee without a lot of their guys, and it seems like Phoenix is going to be without KD. And although, OKC is just not a team that I'm just want to play against, to be honest. 18-8 ATS at home. Phoenix is probably going to they're going to want to slow the pace down. They're 23rd in pace without KD. Probably play in a half court, which is why I like the under. This is the 4th straight road game for Phoenix. They're 1-2 straight up in ATS in the 3 games prior. OKC defense has slipped up a little bit in the past week or so, but I think without KD they'll be able to stop Phoenix from doing whatever it is they want to do, which is more than likely shoot a lot of threes. And OKC is elite defending the 3. They're number 1 in the NBA in defending the 3. So I like the under 227.5. I would look at a Phoenix team total under as well. And if I had to do anything with the spread, I would lay it with OKC. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I'm taking the points with the Suns. I understand that is probably not the one. If J-Dub's not playing, I'm for sure taking the points with the Suns. I already am very questionable of laying this amount of points with OKC just because I love this OKC team. But I also admit Ajay Mitchell is a really good depth piece for them. Kaysen Wallace, it gets starting level minutes. That's a rotational piece player, and he's not playing in this game. And he also helps add to the scoring, also helps them a little defensively as well. But J-Dub also, like, he's an all-star. That is a now 20 points per game that is now factored out of the lineup. And I just don't know if I think everybody else is going to be as consistent enough. So if J-Dub's not playing, I feel really good about taking the Suns plus the points here. I think it's way too many points for a team that's missing their second best player. Even if they do have SGA can go in here and have 45 points and this team only win by like 8 points. So yeah, I would like to fade OKC if all these pieces are out in this game. And it probably opens up Brad Beal a little bit more with no Kevin Durant because now Brad Beal can go back to being a second option, which apparently he really likes. All right, let's close things out and get up out of here. We've got one last game. The Orlando Magic, who have been playing like shit on the road. I didn't mean to go ahead and tip off how I'm feeling about this game, but the Orlando Magic have been playing like complete total shit. And they're on the road going to play the Sacramento Kings here. Kings are laying 5.5. Injury report here. 218.5 is the total. We've got Zach LaVine, who isn't on the injury report for this game. So it looks like he's going to be able to make his debut here for the Sacramento Kings. And we've got Jalen Suggs on the other side, who is a doubtful for this game. So they're going to be missing one of their best defenders. Yeah. Do you have anything on taking Orlando or whatever the hell is Orlando's problem?
Yeah, I don't have anything. I was going to ask you. I don't know how they look worse with Paulo and Franz than they were without.
They look fucking horrible.
Yeah, I mean, 4 straight losses. I mean, they just losing. I mean, I get it. It's the NBA. You're going to lose, but they just don't look good at all. Like, no competitive fire. It doesn't look like. I mean, they failed to cover in 9 of their last 10. The 9
they failed to win 9 of their last 10. They didn't just fail to cover. They failed to win 9 of the last 10. Like, what's going on here?
Sacramento back home from a 6-game road trip. They were 2-3 straight up at ATS. They didn't play particularly well in a lot of those games. I think they got blitzed like 3 times in those games. So it would be Kings or nothing. I mean, LaVine coming in, him and DeRozan familiar with each other from Chicago. I think there'll be a lot of juice in the building. Probably look at Malik Monk assists because I think he'll be more of the point guard now that Fox is gone. But yeah, it would be Kings or nothing for me. I didn't have a ton on this game.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and transition us over to the Lock Dog segment here with this one because I'm having a horrible week. Like, I just cannot get going this week on anything that I'm giving out. It's like 50% or worse. But what I will say is that Orlando's really bad. And so now I'm going to test Orlando. How bad are you? Are you bad enough where I'm still going to get this bet right in a week where it just seems like I can't get anything to go right for me? Or are you going to finally nut up and play a good game of basketball? Because Orlando's look horrible, like really, really bad over the course of these 10 games. And I think this is a statement for the Sacramento Kings that, hey, we have this roster. This is now the team that we're going forward with moving forward. Everybody on the Kings, I think, was very, very clinched about the situation about, hey, what's going on around the trade deadline? Who's going to be moved? Is somebody going to leave with Fox? What's going on with De'Aaron Fox? Now they have some what's the word I'm looking for? They probably feel a lot better sleeping at night knowing that this is all over. De'Aaron Fox has now moved on. This is the team we're moving on with, and let's figure out a way to go make a run for the playoffs. And it starts here, going through Orlando, and we're getting less than 2 possessions. So yeah, I'll take Sacramento laying 5.5 here. That is my lock. Orlando has just been absolutely complete shit. So let's see who's worse, my cold streak right now or Orlando's style of play. That's the lock. For my dog, going to... Is there anything I want to play outright? I would love to actually fade Golden State outright, but I won't do it. I won't do it. So, what's Wemby's points alt? Because I have no idea how they're going to expect to slow him down. And honestly, if I'm the Hawks, the game plan is just let Wemby do whatever he's going to do, and let's slow down everybody else. So he's at 25.5. I can get Victor Wembanyama for 30 plus points, plus 220 today against the Atlanta Hawks. Sure, why not? That's my dog. Lonte, what are you doing on this slate?
Yeah, I was gonna take Victor 4+3s for my dog at 150, but I can pivot and we'll go to I'll start with the lock. I like Memphis team total over 124.5 for all the reasons that we went over in the handicap of the game earlier. I don't want to just go reiterate everything, but they should be able to have their way inside. The depth should be able to wear down Toronto. I mean, they scored 155 against this team already. No inside presence for Toronto without Jakob Poeltl. I think they have their way offensively. And for the dog, I'm going with Evan Mobley over 2.5 steals plus blocks. He had 4 in the previous meeting versus Detroit. He had a horrible game, so I think he's going to step up big time to play big. And I think he'll be able to get a lot of those steals and blocks because of what Cade does with the ball in his hands. A lot of mid-range stuff, a lot of dumping off to Stewart and Duran. So he should be able to get his hands on a few of those for stealing for a couple of steals, a couple of blocks. So let's go over 2.5 steals plus block. That should be like plus 110, plus 115-ish.
Oh, where is it? I know I have it up here.
Yeah, I just don't have. It's not a lot of dogs up here that I like.
Oh, you are so lucky I don't have the puppy dog sound effect. I thought I had it up here. You are so lucky I don't have the puppy dog sound effect up here. What kind of dog is that? Plus 110. What? There's spreads that have a 110.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want another one, I mean, I got Victor. I'm laddering.
Give out the Victor one. Give out the Victor one.
Yeah,
five people plus, need better than plus 110.
Yeah, 5+3s, 350.
All right, there we go. I like that. All right. We'll throw the steals and blocks in Underdog though. That's 1.1x spicy. We can do that in there. So we got Underdog Mobley over 2.5 steals and blocks. I went ahead and added Wemby's 24.5 points up there. And one more play to close us out on Underdog.
EDPR returning back home to Toronto should have a big game. No Poeltl, nobody in the interior at all. So he should, as long as he gets the minutes, he should have a big day.
Canadians. All right, 18.5 PR for Zach Edey. Higher. We've got Victor Wembanyama higher, 24.5 points, and we've got Evan Mobley higher, 2.5 blocks and steals. That's going to pay 5.99x over there. Underdog Fantasy, $100 gets you $599. Make sure you use that promo code NBASGPN over there. Underdog Fantasy, sign up and sign up quick. All right, Lonte, what are we doing here? Anything else for people before we get up out of here?
Not at all, man. Best of luck to everybody.
All right. With that, I am at @reallyreal__. He's at XX and give us a follow at SGPN MBA, 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcast, and leave a like on the YouTube stream before you get up out of here. With that, I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just gonna end it like this. We are out of here.